Hello, everybody. I hope you're well, and I'm sorry I haven't posted for a while. I've just got really busy with trying to make money, and I'm trying to get more organized now, so hopefully I'll have a bit more time. That's what we all want, isn't it? A bit more time. I was thinking of talking about one cause today. One cause being God, the source of everything in our world, what everything is made from, and what we could call consciousness. And what's inspired me for that, to talk about that, is somebody put me in touch with a lady from America recently, and she had some problems. She's going through some problems at the moment, and she's feeling quite a lot of anxiety. And he thought I might be able to help because we went through something a bit similar, not totally the same. But I feel I am out the other end, but she's in the midst of it all at the moment. And I won't talk about what it is because it's just a problem and we all have problems, so it's not so important what it is. But she's very nice, and first of all it was texting, and then I thought I'll just record because it's easier for me and then send it off to her. And yeah, very reflective, perceptive and sensitive person. And then just recently I thought, well, send her a clip about Neville Goddard, because she does believe in God, but in a more traditional way, at least from how she has spoken about God, as in more something, some power on the outside rather than a power on the inside. Even though the Bible does say that he lives within us, but not everybody really considers that, I think. And so I was being sensitive to her and being encouraging and supportive, but I have to eventually see things in a bit more of an objective way, because there are two people involved, in this case anyway, and she's blaming the other person for hurting her. And it's, you know, she's got the right to think that. I mean, on this reality, she's correct. But it's not going to do her any good if she keeps holding on to her suffering all the time. So I was trying to introduce her to the idea that everything comes from us, from the power within us. And it's okay to be angry or to be sad and to lash out in the beginning, because when we suffer from whatever problem that is, it's really awful and it's very painful and hurts, and we just think, if only that person hadn't done that, I would be okay now. Why did that have to happen to me? Why me? And those kind of things. And we've all been through that. And it's totally natural. And I do hope to get to the point where I don't go through that stage first, because my faith is so strong. I am able to think, how did I create this situation from the imagination, if you know what I mean? And with smaller things, I have been there before. It's just with the bigger things, they can really knock you sometimes. And even though you know, in theory, everything comes from the imagination. When you want to blame somebody, you tend to just blame them, and you don't consider that. It's there in the back of your head, but you can see clearly that they've done something wrong to you, and so you're angry with them and you want to blame them. But it doesn't do us any good, and it's not actually the truth. So if you feel like you need that, then by all means do that. But eventually come to the point where you can reflect on it in a more objective way and think, if this is what I believe, if I truly believe that everything comes from the imagination, in some way I have caused this situation to happen. And I've said before, it could be that you imagine a new self-concept, and so what you're putting out from your new self-concept brings these situations to you, and you didn't actively or specifically imagine that particular thing that happened to you. It was just part of your energy, your self-concept. It could also be that you're imagining for something and a bridge of incidents has opened up that is going to lead you to your desire, to achieving your desire. And so something happens to you and you think, I don't want this to happen, but it's necessary for you to achieve your dream. It's part of it. And who knows why some things happen and other things don't. It's not for us to consider the how God operates. We just live in the end. We imagine that we already have what we want and he makes it happen, how he wants it to happen. So we have to accept that. So it could be any one of those things and more, but it could be that we imagined something and it might have been a very short moment and then we forgot about it and it's come to pass in our world. But whatever it is, if we believe these teachings, then we have to take responsibility at some point when we're ready to. And then that is going to help us so much more than blaming somebody for our pain. It really will. And you might not get to that place immediately, but just get to it at some point. I really hope that the more I study and the more I integrate the teachings into my life, and it is my way of life, that when things happen, I just think, this has to have some meaning. I mean, I do think that. I do think this has some meaning in my life. And sometimes I think that straight away, and I don't start thinking, if only that person hadn't done that. And then that will come to me at a later stage when I'm dwelling on it, and I need to keep going back into thinking, well, I can't see what the reason is right now, and maybe I'll never see it while I'm, walking this earth, but I know that there's always something good that comes from seemingly bad situations, always something good. And you can look back on things that have happened in your life that you haven't particularly wanted, and you can always find at least one thing that is positive from that. So that can really help, I find, when the shit hits the fan, so to speak. But it does become easier, but some things are just more painful than others, and so we need a bit more time, and we want to try and get that satisfaction from blaming somebody, but in the end we've got to grow up, spiritually grow up, and realize that it's from our own consciousness, and we've created this situation in some strange way. And that's a hard one for a lot of people, really hard, when they seem to be, well, like they can say about other people and say, but they're innocent, and how can you say that they deserved that? And I don't say that. I don't say that anyone deserves what they get, deserves pain. I'm just saying about having a non-blaming attitude. And you can deal with the situation, you can seek justice, by all means seek justice, but try and do it without hate or anger. And if you can't do it for spiritual reasons, just do it, well, there is only spiritual reasons, but do it for yourself so that you don't cause yourself more pain. Consider yourself, because if you don't forgive, then you think it's the other person you're not forgiving. But really, you're not forgiving yourself, because you're carrying around all this hate against another person or a grudge, and they're not affected by it at all, usually. But you are. You're suffering. So why do that to yourself? And it's easier said than done, I know, but I'm just saying that over time, you might come to a point when you can reconcile things within yourself and come to some understanding that allows you to forgive the other person and just get on with your life and be happy, which is the ideal, really. So I was trying to say a little bit of that in a sensitive way, to help her, to try and get her to see things from a different angle. But when you're emotionally involved in something, you put your own perception on it. And I could see what she was doing when she was telling the story. And I wasn't emotionally involved in it, so I felt that I was trying to read between the lines and work out what could have actually happened rather than how she saw it. And she might be right. But again, it doesn't help her to keep, living in that pain. Acceptance is so important. Acceptance, faith, and just seeing the good in all situations, and that will really get you through in the end. So yeah, I've just been thinking about one cause, and that everything comes from that same cause, which is the imagination. And the beauty of that is that we can learn to control it, and we can imagine for really positive situations in our lives, and we can revise the negative ones, see them how we would have liked them to have happened, and just bring really beautiful things into our lives instead. And that's what I'm trying to do every day, and I hope you're trying to do it as well. But I just thought, just record something about one cause, just to help people, hopefully, and be a reminder that when you're thinking, oh, I don't like that person at work, why did they say that, and blah, 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 as we all do from time to time, just think, they're in my world for a reason, and try and accept them, and maybe dwell on the positive aspects of that person, which is something that doesn't often happen in my life. But I am starting to think, when I think negatively of someone, try and balance it out with positive things, because I know it's not true just to think of the negative. It's just not true. Everybody has the positive. Everybody has good sides. I'm just hesitating as I say that, because it's dualistic, and it's just my perception of what's good or bad. We're complex, aren't we? Human beings are complex. Sometimes people piss you off, and sometimes they really make you happy. So maybe seeing it in that way is more helpful. So it's about ourselves. It's what's coming from ourselves. We are reacting to other people because of our own experiences that have made us what we are. So if we get irritated, then it's something coming from us and something we need to deal with. By the way, do you like my Cruella de Vil hair at the moment? I think it goes quite well with my pink jumper. I quite like these silver streaks, as I call them. I am slightly embracing the aging process. No, I am. I'm not in the really hard time of life when people suffer a lot with pain. So it's easy to at the moment. And I do like this. So on a more superficial note. So I'm really tired at the moment, actually. But I just felt I really want to communicate with the people who listen to me on a regular basis, our little community, because I really appreciate your comments and thoughts, and it's nice that we can all talk about things that we believe in. I have been working quite a lot. I've been doing quite a bit of tuition, and but not too much because I don't want to get too worn out. But I'm trying to save up for something at the moment, so I feel like I need to work hard. And well, it's okay. I'm getting into a routine, getting a bit more organised. Still got a long way to go, but I'm going to try and go to bed earlier this week and get up earlier and do some writing. I'm writing a book about Neville Goddard at the moment. And that gives me a lot of satisfaction whenever I think about the subjects he's spoken about and get a bit deep into it. I really like that. And I've been reading this book. A lot of you might be familiar with that. But it's surprisingly similar to things that Neville Goddard said. Obviously, the focus is on money, or rather getting rich, abundance, but not love of money. Subtle difference, but quite a big difference there. But it's really good. And it's a very short read. So if you haven't read it, I recommend it. And yeah, he talks about it's the same principle, but he just uses different words sometimes. He calls, let me try and find something. Intelligence, substance, consciousness. And let's see. Okay, I'll read a few sentences to you. This is from chapter 4, the first principle in the science of getting rich. Thought is the only power which can produce tangible riches from the formless substance. I like that, formless substance, the invisible consciousness. The stuff from which all things are made is a substance which thinks, and a thought of form in this substance produces the form. That's it in a nutshell, isn't it? Yeah, and we're thinking imagining creates reality, and we're dwelling in the feeling of the wish fulfilled and imagining and having conversations within that we have what we want in the present tense. And this is thinking about what we want and holding it in this substance produces it. And if anybody wants me to talk a bit about this sometime, I'm really enjoying this at the moment, so this would be a good time to do it. So just let me know, or if you have any thoughts on Wallace Wattles. What a great name, Wallace Wattles. So that's probably enough for now. Hope you liked it, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and look forward to hearing from you. Bye.